we have two particular choices that we're going to be making here. One will be with the orange, and two will be with banana. Now, for the purpose of this explanation, we'll say that the child whose emotions are here is going to pick the item that they would prefer the most. Neither good nor bad, but they would prefer this or this. So what happens is the emotions kick in. Now, the child has a choice. It sees this and it sees this. And let's say that it's going to choose this. Okay, so immediately it makes that choice, then this appears. But before that the choice was made here, this was never there. Okay? Now, another day comes around, or another moment, or whatever, and the same representation occurs. Through emotion, the child sees the orange and it goes, I like that the first time because here's our first experience. Now we're going to have it again. Now immediately this is now duplicated over here. Now the purpose of this and this is very, very paramount to this and then what we're going through. So what you've got here is, let's say that this is the first representation of the choice made here. Now this is the ego, of course. This is the power and funnel of which has made the choice. Now at this point, the ego hasn't really evolved, but let's just say that over a period of time, it evolves relatively quickly. Certainly within the first year, the choices of the ego are starting to develop. Now, say this is the second time that the child has picked this. Then it goes into this space here again, and it goes, oh, I remember that. But it also has transformed it now in here. Now, because the child's liked it, this here has become a pattern. This is also the pattern. However, don't forget I was saying that it's on three dimensionals, it's an energy cycle that keeps revolving continuously. Now, let's just say that the child chooses the banana, and then for some reason the child doesn't like the banana. Well, again, it goes into this aspect here, and then if it's strong enough because this is stronger, it will bring itself into this place here, this position here. Now, let's not forget, I was talking about this being three-dimensional. So too is this, the two separate choices. They too are three-dimensional. So this is playing out here and here. So if this is the first time, then this is the very first time on another level inside the energy cycle of a human being. So what we've got is we've basically got emotion, making a choice at first. From that choice over here becomes the first initiating pattern. From the continuance of that choice, let's say, there is this pattern formed within the child. And also from this pattern formed over here, so too is it formed here. Now multidimensional, of course. And I can't show you that in this particular video, but nevertheless that's what we're talking about. So what we're talking about in terms of the immersion process is that this emotion is becoming very, very active in the subtleties of beloveds who have grown up. That's the best way I can put it. if you're over a certain age and you've had a fair bit of experience, so you've left home, you've gone to university, you've started work, or you're halfway through your business career, or you're retired, or you're nearing retirement, whatever your age is, then this part here, predominantly for most, has never really been looked at. Now, there's a lot of focus about the law of creation and the law of abundance. Well, that goes into this. Now, everything they're talking about is like using your emotion. Basically, you use a storyboard, visualization, whatever you can, but you're bringing emotion into power, and it's using the ego to create the purpose of your focus. And that creates a pattern here, but first it's got to create a pattern there. Now, there's all sorts of levels inside of this, like if you've grown up and your self-acceptance is not so good and all these sorts of things, it takes a lot of commitment to this to create what you want as you become older. Now, if you're a meditator, or if you're holistic, or if you're just downright empowered in some dimension, then, in dimension I mean in your body, then this process is very easy. However, you've got a pattern. This is the most important part. Now, because of the immersion, like I was saying before, we have this component over here, which is the body, and then we have the emotion. Well, for the most part, I'll sort of move a wee bit over here for this little exercise. For the most part, I mean, this is what's going to be coming, is this effect. But for the most part, the emotion and the body are actually individuality, separate. They're not immersed in each other. Now, when they become immersed, that's a completely different story in terms of harmony, in terms of empowerment, and like I said, a bright white light with a blue outline. But this here, this gap, let's say, this gap here is now being removed, and it's like a magnet, it's pulling the two together. So when we come back to the emotion, and we come back to these patternings, when the body and the emotion are starting to work in collaboration, then these choices, these aspect choices here, are actually going to be in alignment, and of course they're going to come to the fore. They're going to be more predominant. But these choices over here, which weren't liked, weren't good, could be self-sabotage, could be not good enough, could be anger, could be fear, whatever it is, those choices are going to come up in beloveds, because as this gets closer, it can only accept this. It will not accept this. So as this process is approaching its evolutionary design, if you like, then this dynamic here is actually going to look a wee bit different. It's going to look like, well, how am I going to do that one? One moment.